the steal and the goal.
Fantastic.
If that is, thank you, Jesse. Exactly. If that's the only highlight from Nick Robertson last night, you're like, damn it, that man just made the team. That's exactly the kind of stuff Berube wants from him. Stick work on the guy, turn the puck over, and Nick has one of the best shots on the team.
Preseason's about adjustment to speed, right? And that looked like a player who could keep up, right? Taking advantage of a player who wasn't, at very least, in that moment. I thought it was strange. I don't know which Habs defenseman it was, Barron. They were so casual with it, but Nick is never going to be casual about everything. He plays every game like it might be his last, because it genuinely might be. Whether the team is going to trade him or he just decides to skate brain first into a hit again. Like he just seems to get creamed every time, but he always gets back up and he always tries his best. And he has this funny looking shot. Like, it's so weird. He's just got one of those shots where I'm like, I don't understand how this is good, but goalies can't keep track of it. They can't keep up to it. And I think the difficulty he's had is finding room for himself. Well, if he creates a scenario for himself where he has a breakaway, that goalie's in trouble.
Right.
That goalie's in very big trouble. And with that play, I think he did good things for his opportunity to make this team. I'm going to go as far to say last night was, in the eyes of the Leafs organization, good for him. I know Leaf fans do not feel that way today. And I think I'm about to get into an argument with my friends. I think we all need to get over it.
Okay, Jesse.
In a game where nothing matters and not everybody's going 100% because it's an exhibition game, there are actually no points on the line. When you're a guy fighting for a lineup spot, your job is to be the guy going 100%. And it was Engstrom who he stole the puck from. When you're back there in the offensive zone and you have that opportunity to make a play that's just simply an effort play and stealing the puck and turning around and scoring, like, that's what you want to see out of a player who's fighting for a lineup spot. It was the perfect play for a guy who needs those sorts of play to make the lineup. So I agree with you that it was a great night for Nick in the end of it all, that he was able to come up and make that play. But the one thing about Nick Robertson that's the difficult thing about him is that he's been good offensively. We know he is good on the offensive end. We know that we can get 14 goals out of him, and he's going to be one of the highest goals per 60. You pointed that out, where it's like isolate for goals per 60. He's going to be at the top there. And I think he's number 3 on the team last season, or number 2
the Leafs
behind Austin.
So weird. It's like Austin, Robertson, McMahon.
Yeah, because McMahon had that hot start. So the guy who's second on the team in goals per 60, we know he can do that at the NHL level. It's about the other stuff. And the other stuff includes not making a boneheaded decision, like pushing one of the top players on the team in the butt and causing him to hit somebody's knee in shin, you know?
Just terrifyingly similar to Tavares Perry.
I want to say in the end, it's a good night for Nick, and I agree with that. But it's also, how much did you move the needle? It couldn't have moved that much, because the other parts of the game are what we want you to fix. We want you to be not fast feet everywhere. We want you to just smarter hockey sense.
Yeah.
You know, all of those things are what Nick Robertson needs to do to get in the lineup regularly. And last night he showed the part of the game that he's good at, which is like play to your strengths, you know? So we got to also see more from Nick.
Well, and part of, so when it gets to the Nylander thing, can we pull that up? Do we have,
Sure.
Can we? So this is Robertson giving Nylander a push. This happens all the time in the NHL. The issue is that I don't think he told him he was going to do that.
Nylander has no idea this is coming.
Or if the situation warranted it. Because it can also be, Nick, move your feet. And that was the argument Nick Kypreos was making at intermission. It's Nick slows down and his feet stop moving so that he can boost Nylander. But if you're the guy fighting for the lineup, get in there and move your feet and get into the zone.
Yes.
Also, like, I'm not... The screenshot's terrible because lost in this conversation is that stick is in a very he basically puts it between Nylander's butt cheeks.
That's a credit card swipe right there.
It's yes.
Yeah.
And so it's the reason Nylander goes down is because he was diving in a preseason game.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. Sorry, I was just doing an impression of the worst people in the world. The placement of the stick was too low. And that's why he falls. And I don't think Nylander needs your help.
No, he's pretty quick. That's the thing. Nylander's quicker than you.
He's quicker than almost everybody. Like
I look at this and
he's fine.
Was it Kipper called it a Bush League play? And that's what preseason's for, Bush League plays. To me, this is Nick Robertson doing what Steve mentioned earlier, which is he tries so hard sometimes it's almost too hard. And
this is
I don't want to victimize the guy, but you could tell this guy fucking wants it so bad.
I'm gonna turn the heat down on Robertson because I could go full hellfire and brimstone.
No, I don't think he can.
We all know it's stupid.
Sure,
it's stupid. He shouldn't have done it.
Yeah,
and dangerous. And would I have different feelings about it if Nylander was hurt long term?
Mm-hmm.
You bet. Mm-hmm. I probably would. Would it change the logic that Nick used heading into the play? No. Is that fair? Also, no.
What?
Am I human? Yes.
Is the logic he used going into the play the good logic?
The logic is I'm going to do 1% better. Like I'm going to do whatever I can do. I'm going to help William Nylander do something good. And like, what if this boost helps Willy get the puck and it leads to offense? Maddie's laughing, but like this,
I'm not buying what you're selling.
This is no, but Jesse, there's nothing at stake for you. Like this guy badly wants to play in the NHL and asked for a trade. And he signed his contract and he's here and he's trying to do everything. He's still fighting for his life to make the team because they went out and they got guys like Pacioretty and Lorentz. And I barely had a spot on this team without those guys. And now they're here. And Adam nailed it. He's doing way too much. And since Nylander's okay, I think it's water under the bridge. And it's a good teachable moment. Hey, Nick, no one does that.
Relax.
No one should ever do that. I don't even know about relax, but like that's not going to get you on the team. What's going to get you on the team is what you did later in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where I felt, okay, we're getting somewhere. Because what he could have done was folded. And what he did do was he went out and he made a great play.
And Berube put him out, if I'm not mistaken, next shift.
That is a coach showing, hey, I know you can do this.
I know you can do better.
Because if you're Berube in that situation, you got to take him aside and say, listen, you got about 3 seconds to feel bad about that and you got to move on.
Yes.
And short memory. You'll deal with it after the game. You got to get out there and you got to earn a spot. And what he did, I thought, when we started with the great play that he made, there's a reason for that, because that is the lasting memory you should have from this. Obviously, this was silly, this was dumb, and Willy's okay and we're okay. So you don't need to do that. Simplify the game. Jesse mentioned it. When you're talking about what kept him out of the lineup, Sheldon Keefe scratching him for game 7 last year was completely unforgivable. I would fire Sheldon Keefe just based on that.
But he was zeros across the board.
But when you're looking, okay, he zeros across the board, but you can't fucking score in the series. You're going to take a scoring threat out.
Fair
okay,
enough.
Fine. Great. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Great work. Good job, everybody.
Fair enough.
My point is, this guy can put it in the net.
Yeah.
If this guy does simple shit where he's not dicking around with the puck at the blue line like he did last year, where he's not making cross ice passes through the neutral zone, if you keep it, simplify your game on the defensive zone. No one needs you to be Calle Yarncroke. Nobody needs you to be John Tavares in the defensive zone. All we need is for you to be simple, work on your zone exits, and we'll get you in a spot where you can score.
Get open and shoot.
He's going to score 25 goals this year if he plays.
And I think all of that is why the game itself is like a net even for Nick. because he didn't show any improvement for last year, but he didn't take a step back. He showed he can score, but he shows that he's still doing boneheaded stuff.
Well, then there's the argument that last year he was a good player. You know what I mean? Like last year
offensively,
and like he should be in the lineup anyway. He should be on pace for 15, 20 goals. Should be on pace for like 40-ish points.
Yeah, but
for under $1 million.
If
there's other parts of the game than Nick just scoring a little.
Yes.
And that's the part he struggles with. And this showed that he's still where he was last year. And if the idea for Nick to get an improvement, to get in the lineup is to improve, he's right where he is.
Yeah.
I
think maybe it's jitters left over from the Keefe era.
Yeah, I think having
but
not
it's pro
watched
sports.
I
don't have time for you to figure out your jitters.
Yeah, that's fair.
How much leash you giving this pro athlete to figure out the rest of the game?
Having not watched every single Nick Robertson game, my guess is he's never done this before. And my guess is he'll never do this again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't look at this as a bad habit he needs to get out of his game. You know what I mean?
No, it's not.
Being constantly out of position, that's bad.
Yeah, it's not the specific play. It's what this play represents about the rest of his game.
I understand.
It's not hey, he does this all the time. He pokes guys in the butt and makes them go down and swipes them between the butt cheeks.
Directly in the gooch.
It's about his hockey sense.
Yeah.
And this is an example of that. And that is rest of the game. This is just an example of what he does outside of scoring.
By the way, I will also say that Willy did join the ice late in practice today.
Which is not abnormal for him.